Hello everyone and welcome to today's edition of the Cheap Meal presented by Deep Fried Draft. My name is Brian Bosarge. Everybody, we finally made it. The draft is less than, well, a little more than 24 hours away, but still, we've made it. The time has come. We are here. Today, little special edition of the Cheap Meal. I'm going to go pick by pick with my final mock draft that's now up and available at deepfrieddraft.com. So we're going to go pick, like I said, we're going to go pick by pick, team by team. I'm going to give you a breakdown of kind of sort of why I put that player there, maybe some other options that may be there in this case. Let's start at the top. Cleveland Browns will select Myles Garrett, the edge rusher from Texas A&M. This is about the only lock, sure thing pick I see right now in the first round. Everything else could be bananas, but this one is it. Garrett is a freak athlete off the edge, will add instant pass rush to the Browns defense and scare their opponents for years to come. At 2 is where the draft could become unhinged with the San Francisco 49ers because nobody knows where they're going to go. They've been tight-lipped about everything. So I'm going to project that the 49ers, despite having Jaquiski Tartt and Jimmy Ward, that the 49ers and Eric Reed, the 49ers will select LSU safety Jamal Adams. Adams is a great player, downhill safety, with great range, is an upgrade over the safeties they have, but don't rule out the 49ers could go any number of other ways, including not necessarily recruiting Marcus Lattimore, Leonard Fournette, Solomon Thomas. I mean, anywhere. 49ers could do anything. But for this projection, we're going to have them taking Jamal Adams from LSU. At 3, Chicago, another team that could go anywhere. Quarterback could be in play here for the Bears as they sign Mike Glennon as a free agent to a 3-year deal that equates to basically a 1-year deal. But for this projection, we're going to have them upgrading their cornerback position with Ohio State corner Marshawn Lattimore. I love Marcus Lattimore, and that will not be the last time I'll make that mistake. But Marshawn Lattimore, the redshirt sophomore from Ohio State, to Chicago here at 3. 4 is another team that could go a multitude of ways. I've even heard rumors that quarterback could be in play, that they may not be picking up the 5th-year option on Blake Bortles. So QB could be in play for the Jags. I've seen Leonard Fournette projected here. For this projection, however, we're going to see the Jaguars, who are constantly trying to get that edge rusher. We're going to say they try it again, this time with Stanford edge rusher Solomon Thomas. At pick 5, the Tennessee Titans, by way of the Los Angeles Rams, they need some offensive weapons for Marcus Mariota. This could be a great spot for a trade back with someone like the Browns or someone else who's wanting, maybe even Buffalo, someone who's wanting to move up to draft a quarterback. This could be a spot for a trade up. But if no trade up exists, they could go also with some secondary upgrades here. But for this, I'm going to project the Tennessee Titans selecting Clemson wide receiver Mike Williams to give a number 1 big play, big wide receiver red zone target for Mariota. At pick 6, another spot that could be a quarterback. This could be a spot for Leonard Fournette. Could be a spot even for O.J. Howard. But we're going to say the Jets get a defensive playmaker in the secondary and Ohio State safety Malik Hooker for the Jets here at 6. At 7, the Los Angeles Chargers. Another team that has several needs, a team that could draft QB of the future. Another team that could add some defensive help here. But we're going to pair with first-round running back 2 years ago with another first-round running back this year in Christian McCaffrey from Stanford. I hate to make the base comparison because they're both white, but we'll say that McCaffrey can add that Danny Woodhead element to their offense that's missing when Woodhead was hurt. So basically get a younger, better much more athletic Danny Woodhead for the Chargers to pair with Melvin Gordon. At 8, Leonard Fournette to Carolina. This is one that's been rumored for a while. He's the back that Carolina loves, that Carolina's offense needs. I think this may be a slam dunk pick for the Panthers if he is still on the board. It's at 8 is Leonard Fournette. At pick 9 is the Cincinnati Bengals. I've heard Derek Barnett's name linked here a lot. That very well may be the pick. I've heard Reuben Foster a lot. I don't like that pick for the Bengals. Could be one of the 2 receivers, Corey Davis or John Ross, possibility. But a guy whose name has picked up steam to the Bengals in the last week or so is Temple edge rusher / linebacker Hassan Reddick. Reddick will immediately upgrade the athleticism of the Bengals defense. He can rush the edge on 3rd downs and play outside linebacker on base downs. Buffalo restructured quarterback Tyrod Taylor's deal to basically make it where it's just a 1-year deal for him. And we get their quarterback of the future now with Clemson quarterback Deshaun Watson I project will be the next quarterback of the Buffalo Bills. Pick 11 is the New Orleans Saints. New Orleans. Their defense sucks. Let's not pull any punches. Their defense has not been good for a long time. And they have 2 first-round picks. We'll get to the second one later. But for this one, we get an edge rusher for the Saints, and we get Derek Barnett from Tennessee to try to add some production off the edge, get some sacks, quarterback pressures in there for the Saints defense. Pick 12, and a pick that I don't think Cleveland's going to hang on to. I think they will move up. They acquired this pick from Philadelphia last year. I think they'll move up at some point for a quarterback. For this projection, I'll leave them right here at 12, and they select Mitchell Trubisky, quarterback from North Carolina, to be the QB of the future for the Browns. Pick 13, the Arizona Cardinals, also in need of a quarterback of the future. Carson Palmer, long in the tooth, oft injured here lately. They get a quarterback that they can throw it downfield because that's what Bruce Arians likes to do. And that guy in this draft is the big-armed, while mechanically erratic, Patrick Mahomes, quarterback, Texas Tech. Philadelphia acquired the 14th pick from the Minnesota Vikings in the ill-fated, for the Vikings anyway, Sam Bradford trade of a year ago. Philadelphia also needs defensive upgrades, but they could get an offensive skill player as well. I've heard Dalvin Cook's name dallied about here, maybe in a trade back if that's what they want to do. But here they have 7th rounder Jalen. Anyway, corner from LSU drafted 7th round last year. Well, I cannot think of why I can't think of his name. He was a great value pickup in the 7th round. Started a few games for them. They need to add more help to the secondary, though. And here we give them Alabama corner Marlon Humphrey, whose name is rising up the boards the last week or so. Another name that's rising up the boards for some reason. I don't get it, but he's probably going to go in the 1st round, so I'm going to project him to go in the 1st round. My 91st ranked overall player, I'm going to project to add some edge rusher capabilities to the Indianapolis Colts defense, and that's Charles Harris from Missouri. I wouldn't like the pick. My value board would hate the pick, but for the purpose of this mock draft, we're going to go with Charles Harris to Indianapolis. Baltimore at pick 16 could go with a receiver. But I've also heard that they want to have a tremendous Dallas Cowboy-esque offensive line. And to start with that, we need to start with a guy in the middle. And we're going to go with Forrest Lamp, guard from Western Kentucky. It will be a converted tackle, short arms, so probably not long enough arms to handle the edge at the NFL level, but tremendous player, and will be an immediate plug-and-play starter for the Ravens. Pick 17, Washington catches they want to get some defensive line upgrades here, and they're going to catch a guy who's falling down some boards because of some shoulder concerns, injuries. Jonathan Allen, defensive lineman from Alabama here to the Redskins at pick 17. Pick 18, the Tennessee Titans, their second pick in the first round. This could be another trade back spot. The Titans have made no bones about if they can move back and get a lot more picks, they will. But I'm going to continue upgrading their offense. If you recall, at pick 5, we drafted Mike Williams to the Titans receiver. Now we're going to get another tight end to go opposite of Delanie Walker, maybe replace Delanie Walker in the future. O.J. Howard falls to the Titans at 18 here in this mock draft from Alabama. Howard could go as high as 4 to Jacksonville, but I just when I was putting together the mock draft, I could not find a place for him for a team that could not have other needs other than tight end. So Howard ends up being a perceived faller during the first round, but that's the way it goes. Tampa Bay pick 19, and the rumor mill has them talking to 3 teams below them, trying to move up, possibly to come up and get an offensive tackle, because those guys are going to be of value here pretty soon. I don't project trades in my mock draft, and Tampa Bay may not make this pick at 19, but if they do trade back into the back end of the first round, look for Dalvin Cook, running back, Florida State. Would be an upgrade over Doug Martin and their other backs on their roster. But he does have all-field concerns and some injury concerns. But Dalvin Cook is my #1 rated running back on the field. Pick 20, Denver's been linked to an offensive tackle and no other position during this entire offseason process that I've seen. And so I have them drafting the first tackle off the board, Garrett Bowles from Utah, here to Denver. And I think every mock draft I've put together in the last month and a half, maybe 2 months, I've had them picking Garrett Bowles here. So we're going to stick with that. Detroit at pick 21 has been a team that I haven't been able to nail down what they want to do. They could go for a tight end here. If O.J. Howard did continue to fall, I think he would be the pick here at 21. They could even go so far as to draft Miami tight end David Njoku here. But another player with some off-field and injury concerns that I think will fall here to Detroit. Detroit will scoop him up, and perhaps if he can stay healthy, give them a productive, tremendous player of value, and that's Reuben Foster from the linebacker from Alabama. Here I have falling to Detroit at 21. Here, 22, the Miami Dolphins. I think Miami needs to upgrade the edge rusher position. They could also, if Forrest Lamp was to fall here to 22, I think he's in play. But we're going to go with edge rusher here, and a little reach, bit of a reach to my value board, but Taco Charlton from Michigan here, 22 to the Dolphins. 23, New York Giants need to protect Eli Manning. And so we're going to give them another offensive tackle, next offensive tackle off the board, my #1 rated offensive tackle, Cam Robinson from Alabama. 24, pick Oakland. Oakland could go any number of ways. We could see a linebacker pick here, maybe a Zach Cunningham, Jared Davis. But in a pick reminiscent of the late Al Davis, and in honor of the Raiders moving to Las Vegas, the Raiders picked the fastest man in the draft, John Ross, wide receiver from Washington. He will provide a deep threat that Amari Cooper and Michael Crabtree do not provide. Take the lid off the defense. Houston is in a precarious position. I could see them going with an offensive tackle, perhaps. I think they would want one of the other 3 quarterbacks that have already gone. You could see Houston in a spot here of trading completely out of the first round because the guys that they want are gone and the value is not there. But in this projection, I'm going to have them going with the next available quarterback because they must upgrade the quarterback position at some point, during the draft. So I'm going to roll with Deshaun Kaiser, the redshirt sophomore quarterback from Notre Dame. Pick 26, the Seattle Seahawks here. I could see going with some offensive line help, maybe a corner. Corner has been the most often projected pick here. But I think we can also upgrade the wide receiver position for Seattle, opposite of Doug Baldwin and with Tyler Lockett. I'm going to go with Corey Davis. Corey Davis, wide receiver from Western Michigan. But note that this is one of the picks in this first round that I feel absolutely zero confidence in. Corey Davis could go before this, may not even go in the first round. But that's I feel like Seattle can add him there as a piece. Kansas City, I think, would like to get a quarterback. All of them are now gone, unless they want to go with Davis Webb from Cal. I wouldn't, but Davis Webb is currently my number 100 rated player, but I've seen his name listed into the possibilities of the first round. I think they can upgrade at linebacker, and that's what I'm going to have them doing here from Florida linebacker Jared Davis. Pick 28, Cowboys. They need to upgrade the edge rusher spot, and we're going to do that here with rising senior from Kansas State, Jordan Willis, who had a tremendous Senior Bowl. Green Bay. I've seen this name linked to them for a while now. At pick 29, another edge player, and they don't have to go far to get him. T.J. Watt from Wisconsin. I project here to the Packers. You could also see the Packers go with a corner here as well. 30, Pittsburgh is another team that you could see maybe perhaps looking for a QB of the future if one of was to fall to them. Another team that you could see moving out of the first round, but they do need to upgrade the safety position, and they seem to like the athletic do-it-all types. So we're going to project, despite the diluted sample drug test at the combine, we're going to project Jabril Peppers from Michigan here to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Pick 31, Atlanta is another team kind of tough to nail down, but we're going to give them another edge rusher to go opposite of, God, why can I not think of his name? From Clemson, Vic Beasley, I'm sorry, led to NFL in sacks, couldn't even remember his name. To go opposite Vic Beasley, we're going to have another rising senior who had a tremendous week at the Senior Bowl, Tyus Bowser, edge rusher from Houston. We'll project to Atlanta here at pick 31. At pick 32, and a pick acquired in the Brandon Cooks trade with New England, New Orleans will continue to try to upgrade their porous defense. We're going to give them a big, long, tall corner from Washington, Kevin King, 6'3", very athletic corner from the UW Huskies. One other bit of news I want to touch on. By now, pretty much everyone's heard of the situation involving Ohio State corner Gary Conley, who would have been projected in this mock draft if not for this news, but accused of rape by a woman in Cleveland a little less than maybe a month or so ago. The conclusion of the police investigation has not been done yet. This news comes out 2 days before the draft. He could be in for a Lyle Collins type situation from a couple years ago where he does not get drafted on the first 2 days and then at this point may force himself to an undrafted free agent status if that was the case. But I seriously doubt he's going to be completely exonerated between now and the draft, and I don't know that NFL teams, unless they have more information on this than we do, will pull the trigger on him in round 1 or 2 or 3 for that matter. If he is found guilty at some point, and it's true, I hope he never plays it down in the NFL. But if he is, like I said, exonerated of all charges, then it really sucks for him because it's going to cost him millions and of immediate money. And he'll have a chance to recoup it in the future, but immediately it's not going to pay off for Conley. But hope you enjoyed our breakdown of the mock draft. That's going to do it for today. We'll have more videos and more video breakdowns of the goings-on of the first round of the draft and others at points during the weekend. You can also hear some podcast updates perhaps on the Bumpers app. Download it now from the App Store. Follow me on Twitter for updates during the weekend, the draft weekend that starts in 27 hours from the time I'm filming this. So, like I said, follow me on Twitter at Deep Fried Draft, Facebook.com/Deep Fried Draft, YouTube, bumpers. I'm everywhere. Follow me, like me, subscribe, watch the videos, comment, let me know what you think, and interact. Let's get some interaction going on this site, and let's get out there. Enjoy.